All right, welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something absolutely wild. We're looking at a global agency blueprint straight from a veteran who actually scaled a 500-person tech team. It completely deconstructs exactly how highly talented engineers are finally escaping that low hourly rate trap, the endless upward grind, and building truly sovereign global entities. It's a fascinating system, so let's jump right in.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap for today. We've got 1. The stagnant freelancer paradox. 2. Trimming internal dead weight. 3. The U.S. legitimacy framework. 4. The LinkedIn gold mine. 5. Monetizing the discovery phase. And 6. The sales army layer.
All right, kicking things off with part one, the stagnant freelancer paradox, escaping the race to the bottom.
The source material highlights this paradox with a honestly crazy anecdote. Picture this. You've got a 6-year veteran engineer just grinding out 40-hour weeks for a single client at a measly $8 an hour, and they genuinely think that's their ceiling. Yet they have a novice friend who literally just learned basic Node.js, and that guy secures a client at $40 an hour right out of the gate. So what's the takeaway here? It absolutely wasn't about technical skill. It was entirely about breaking through a mental pricing barrier. And this brilliantly illustrates a massive cultural shift we're seeing. It forces you to ask, are you going to stick to the old way? Sitting around on freelance platforms, practically begging for bids to be accepted? Or are you ready to act like a sovereign global agency? It's really about shifting from being a solitary freelancer trapped in a web to becoming a proactive entity that's actually out there hunting for enterprise leads.
Moving right along to Section 2, Trimming Internal Dead Weight. The radical internal audit.
Listen, before you can even think about scaling globally, the blueprint insists you have to do a radical internal audit. See, a lot of agency owners try to fake growth by packing their office with unqualified friends, family, or interns just to look busy. But this dead weight acts as a massive bottleneck. They drain resources, they eat up internet bandwidth, and worst of all, they drain the incredibly valuable time of your senior developers. The advice here is pretty brutal, but absolutely necessary. You need to let those interns go tomorrow.
So the crucial point here is this specific benchmark instead of focusing on headcount, $1,000. If your agency is under 20 people, you have got to generate a baseline of $1,000 in pure profit per resource every single month. Got 12 people? You need $12,000 in profit. If you aren't hitting that number, you actually don't need more marketing. You need to raise your rates and aggressively cut internal fat. All right, Section 3, the U.S. legitimacy framework. Bypassing the offshore bias. This part of the roadmap is just brilliant. Look, if high-value American clients realize you're operating 100% offshore, they often just tune out immediately. It's a real bias. To bypass this, you use a literal physical verification checklist to build global legitimacy. First, secure a verified physical U.S. address and a Google Maps PIN using something like Regis or WeWork. Next, register an LLC in Delaware or Wyoming. And finally, set up local banking with Wise or Payoneer. Boom, you've instantly transformed into a verified, trustworthy U.S. entity. But wait, what happens when they actually want to jump on a call? Well, the source reveals an incredible insider hack, the state of Utah. Turns out, Utah is a massive hub for highly skilled, super affordable sales professionals. So instead of shelling out $10,000 a month for a full-time U.S. closer, you can hire authentic American closers in Utah, part-time, for just $1,500 to $2,000 a month, plus a structured commission tier. They instantly become the legitimate native-speaking frontline defending your U.S. presence. Which brings us to Section 4, the LinkedIn gold mine, industrial-scale outbound hunting. Okay, you literally cannot scale outbound with just one CO profile. It just doesn't work. The blueprint outlines this genius rental model to manage over 150 profiles. You never buy fake profiles, they get banned. Instead, you legally rent profiles from non-technical staff or family for like $10 to $30 a month. You use their real IDs to pass off verification and maybe subtly enhance their real photos with AI. Once you're set up, you deploy the open profile hack, targeting users with open profiles so you can send over 100 in-mail messages daily without ever exhausting your quotas. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how you actually populate those profiles fast. It's called the hiring hack. You take a rented profile, brand them as a VP of engineering, and slap on that purple hiring badge. Then, you post high-salary U.S. tech jobs in regional groups. This triggers a massive influx of inbound connections directly from your exact target market in a matter of weeks. And once your network is full, You quietly pivot the profile right into outbound sales. Of course, to keep those new connections engaged, you need a weekly content hook. And timing is everything here. The roadmap suggests dropping this content on a Saturday at 11 a.m., exactly when executives are casually scrolling. But here is the trick. Avoid perfectly polished AI images, like spotless green hospital gowns in a pristine operating theater. People scroll right past that fake stuff. What stops them is raw authenticity. A messy medical kit or a dusty, oily engine on a table. Raw, unpolished photos that match their specific industry build way more genuine resonance.
All right, on to section 5, monetizing the discovery phase, filtering out the window shoppers.
So what happens when this LinkedIn engine actually starts producing high-value leads? The blueprint gives us a really hard truth. You have got to stop giving away weeks of deep system analysis for free. A standard free audit just attracts window shoppers and burns your senior devs' time. Instead, you package that exact same analysis as a paid discovery workshop for $1,000 to $5,000. It instantly proves your authority, filters out the tire kickers, and actually monetizes your analysis phase. Trust me, if they're serious, they'll pay for the blueprint.
And finally, section 6, the sales army layer, ensuring no lead is leaked.
Let's map out how this all builds into an incredibly predictable, multi-layered sales army across time zones. Week 1, your overseas lead gen team is bulk managing those rented profiles to secure daily connections. Week 2, account executives step in to nurture the conversation. Week 4, your Utah-based closer represents your U.S. entity and seals the high-ticket deal. But, and this is key, there is a crucial invisible fourth layer overseeing the whole shebang, the sideline auditor. Using tools like HubSpot and Looker Studio, they monitor every single campaign to ensure absolutely no lead is ever leaked from this pipeline.
The days of just crossing your fingers on freelance platforms are officially over. Trimming the dead weight, establishing real global legitimacy, and deploying an industrial-scale outbound army, that's the new standard. So I'll leave you with this question. Are you going to keep racing to the bottom for $8 an hour, or are you ready to finally build the predictable global machine you actually deserve?